All right. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, railings are challenges. And I've come up with a way, some of my own ideas, some I got off of YouTube, where this may end up in not only laying out a railing, but the whole process. So step number one, this is a router for those that don't know, and if you don't know, this is going to be way over your head anyway. I put an edge on these 2x4s just to give it a little detail. This is the top part of our railing system, which will be installed that way, so you have a flat surface on top. And then this is the bottom edge. The bottom edge, we only routed one side because this side is going to be facing out. It's going to be a screened in porch, so we put our screening up. We needed a flat surface there. Now, in determining the spaces for the balusters are your portions of the railing. Let's show them what a baluster is, Matt. Okay, that's a sample baluster. This is a colonial style, which is a little bit, well, it's a lot nicer than just your typical 2x2 square stuff. Now, this is the part that I got off of YouTube. In order to evenly space your balusters with an appropriate equal space on both ends, I forget the gentleman's name, or I'd give him the credit. You mark your tape. See if you can get those marks there, Matt. The space, the centers, the distance between the center of each baluster is 4 3/4. So I have my first black mark there, then 9 1/2, another black mark, 14 1/4, and so on, every 4 3/4. The little dotted lines there represent the edges of your baluster, so you can see how much is going to be on each side. There's more to it than that, but I'm going to lose everybody if I try going there. So this is one section of railing. We have about 3 feet between our posts. So I marked my center of this section of railing, and I have one of the black marks. This represents the center of the baluster. And then you put a mark at every 4 3/4. And let's see, this might be too long, so let's take a break here until we get to the next step. The other guy didn't have a camera here.
I don't know.
You just paused it, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
It's flashing.
Well, I don't know, is it still going? Hit pause. Alright, so we've got the centers of each baluster, and then I drew a line down the center of this rail section here, and I'm going to flush that up with the part that goes on the bottom. And in this case, this is an outside porch railing. It's not as detailed as an interior railing, which is more finished. Now what I'm doing here is I'm pre-drilling these holes. This is the bottom part of the railing, so these are going to be pre-drilled to screw in our balusters, and at the same time, this bit is a little long. This marks the center of the baluster for the top. So we will drill all these out. Come back right after this short break. Okay, we should be back now. And so I've drilled all them. Lay this aside. It might be kind of hard to see, but I've got very small holes just from the tip of this drill in the top part of my railing section, and I just make them a little bit deeper and wider, and you'll see why we're doing that shortly. And again, this is railings are always very detail oriented, or detailed, I should say. Okay, so that's now ready for the balusters. Now here are, yesterday we pre-cut all the balusters, and this step now is we're locating the centers of each of the ends of the balusters. And what I did, I cut a small piece of a baluster, put an X on it to find the center, and now with a small drill bit, we drill a hole in the top and bottom of each baluster. And we come back. All right, now these are the bottoms, the tops of the balusters, and after just marking the center, I'm making a deeper hole here, because what we do is we take a 4-penny galvanized finish nail and just tap that in there, and that will go into the hole that we drilled in the bottom portion of our railing section. To be continued. Okay, now from the small hole that I used to mark the center, I'm pre-drilling a clearance hole, a pilot hole rather, into the bottoms of these balusters for the screws that will be attached. And that will be our next step over here now. This is the bottom section that we pre-drilled before. What I do is I start a screw here, and just let the tip come through about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and that will line up with the hole that we just drilled in the bottom of the balusters. Okay, now we're ready to attach the balusters. The hole that we drilled in the bottom, right here, just move that until it slips into the tip of the screw. Drive that home. That's a good, solid, blind connection. Okay, so we're almost done putting these on, and this is the portion. This will stand up, and this will sit on the deck, so you don't see the screws. And these are good exterior grade screws, 3 inches long, so you have a good 1.5 going into the bottom of these balusters. And then we stand it up and put our 4-penny finish nails in the end of each one, and that will go into, that gives us our centers for each one of these. And we put a little PL premium adhesive on the tips of each one that, quite frankly, I'm not sure how it's going to bond, but if we have to, we can toenail some finish nails into this if by tomorrow when the glue dries they're not nice and solid. Can't stand a loose baluster. Alright, now I'll carry it over to where this is going and we'll take it from there. Okay, now this is where this section is intended to go. Get that flush with our posts. Now on this side, this is where the screening material is going to go. So this screw will not be completely concealed, but this is just a screened-in porch. This is an interior finish. Or these holes would be attached differently, maybe just with adhesive, finish nails. But this, since you're going to have a charcoal type colored screen over here, you won't see these. And this part of our porch construction will be covered by what's called beauty band, a 2x12 from here. They'll actually come down below this, so it'll hide all that. Okay, now I'm going to go inside and put some glue. Here's my glue glove. This PL Premium is really good stuff, and among other things, it doesn't come off your fingers real well. I don't know if you noticed, these are all original takes. We haven't gone back and done anything yet, because if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. It's just the way it is. Now just a small bead adhesive on the tip of each one of these balusters. I don't know if you can see the nail sticking up from there, but trust me, it's there. It sort of acts like a dowel as well, so it will be less likely to move back and forth, but it's not enough to support it. So we'll be right back to show you the cap installation. Alright, now with a dab of adhesive on each one of these, we put the tip of the finish nail into the hole that we've made. And sometimes those holes are hard to see. Again, if this wasn't done, you've got to use spacers and lots of other much more difficult and time-consuming methods to get this in. Alright, when we come back, we'll attach the railing section to the posts. Alright, so our balusters are in place, and now attach these like this. Our screening material is a track and cap system that goes over this post, so you won't see these holes. And everything is screwed together. If for any reason you ever had to take something out, put the screw gun in reverse. And then what I do is I take some more construction adhesive and I just run a very small bead, almost like a weld, on the outside without wiping it off. You can see on this previous section here, that dries really hard, and again it will be more like a weld, and with the screen on this side you won't see. Now coming to the front of the building over here, you can see what 4 sections look like that we did yesterday. It adds a nice touch, and again these balusters are a few dollars more than the traditional balusters, and the edge detail on the 2x4s just sets it off. It might have taken 45 minutes to do all that routing, but once you have the wood, you know it's free, so why not have some nice detail. Until next time, this is this not so old house.